I hate foreigners, and the government is doing nothing. Our kids have turned into zombies. It's all because of them.
But I'm wondering why. You said you hate foreigners.
Most of them are selling drugs. You can ask my son. He will tell you. He started smoking drugs when he was 14 years old. He said it's crystal. That's him.
Dimakatso is part of Operation Dudula, an anti-migrant campaign group and newly formed political party. They blame foreigners for the poor state of the economy and high levels of crime. Critics of Operation Dudula say they're fueling hatred. Figures show about 6.5% of the country's population are migrants. I joined the group as they went to confront a local shopkeeper who they say is in a dispute with his landlady over rent.
Where's the papers of this business? Bring the papers, put the papers here.
Ama-document ukuthi ube la wena amaphepha ukuthi usebenza la South Africa now.
You don't have to.
Tshela nge-passport issued uyovakasha maqeda mele uhambe ubuyele.
Phela le attitude
Uzokuncedisa ukukhiphela
The shopkeeper is forced to sign an agreement giving him 2 months to leave the premises.
This is vigilantism.
This one?
This.
No.
You're not a judge, you're not a policeman, you're not a lawyer, but you just tried to hold a hearing.
Since you intervened, you made sure there's a peace.
Well, you threatened him and you didn't really give him a real option. I was there, I saw it.
We are not vigilant. He is illegally here. If he was not here, you wouldn't never have this problem.
I've come to meet Annie, who's a campaigner for migrant rights.
Don't worry, I'm not going to show your face.
They destroyed all my clothes.
When was this?
On Sunday.
What did they do to the clothes?
They put it in this gutter.
What did they say?
You must go to Nigeria. We are the donors. We are South Africa. I vote in this country. I'm a citizen here. If I'm doing something illegal, fine. Hold me. I'm doing illegal thing. Now you make my life miserable. I cannot pay my rent.
The migrants, they are the poorest of the poor. And they are vulnerable. They'd rather go to them and rattle them instead of rattling the cages of the guys living in the glass houses.
One thing I've realized about life is how quickly people are to forget. South Africans, do you not remember who came to your aid during apartheid? Do you not know who helped you guys train your military, give you guys money? It was Africans. Not the white people, not the Germans that you guys are allowed them in your country. It was Africans. It was Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah. It was Africans, people who looked like you, that helped you guys gain your independence, gain your freedom as people. And today you guys sit here telling Africans to leave your countries. Mind you, as I'm in Ghana right now, the South Africans are living here right now, freely. No one is kicking them out. But you guys, like just like Israel, just like what the Germans did to the Jews and what the Jews are doing to Palestinians right now, the oppressed eventually becomes the oppressor. And the fact that they are doing it with such smiles, like, yeah, leave our country. But when your country was being ran over by white people, it was Africans that came to your aid. It was Africans that sent their own people to help your military. It was Africans that gave you your land to train. It was Africans that gave you money. It was your skin folk that helped you. But now you're in a better position to help your skin folk. You're telling them to leave your country. Maybe you guys need to learn your history. Maybe. I don't know. But it's sad. It's fucking sickening.
Bruh, how many of you know the role that West Africa played in helping free South Africa when it was suffocating under the apartheid? Because watching xenophobia unfold there makes that history, which wasn't that long ago, hit even harder. When the world hesitated, I'm not going to lie, Nigeria didn't. Nigeria backed the ANC and other liberation movements, pushed for sanctions, and used its voice internationally to help build pressure against the apartheid regime. South African officials still publicly to this day acknowledge Nigeria's leading role in that fight, and they weren't alone. Ghana stood with that struggle too under Kwame Nkrumah. Ghana took an early hard line against apartheid, cut trade with South Africa in protest, and offered support to Southern African liberation movements. And I don't want you to think this is some sort of abstract solidarity, because in 1976, Nigeria established the Southern Africa Relief Fund to support South African students and refugees, while ordinary Nigerians contributed through salary deductions that became known as the Mandela tax. Hundreds of South African students were also trained in Nigerian universities. So this was political, financial, and personal, which is why the current climate of xenophobia feels so disturbing, because West Africans are not just in South Africa as bodies in space. They are there spending, studying, building, trading, and contributing. They bring money, skills, networks, economic activity. At some point, West Africans, especially those spending serious money in spaces that keep showing them hostility, need to reconsider. Nobody should actually have to beg to be tolerated, especially when you're adding value. There comes a point where you stop forcing presence and start redirecting your money, your energy, your value elsewhere. I don't want to hear anyone being like, South Africa's my favorite place to visit right now, because the Africa we need has no place for xenophobia.
80% of our land in South Africa is white owned. We're basically fit. I'm a parent, dog. Everybody straight. I'm a parent in our own country. We're begging, man. And who's our enemy? Umtomyama. I like that statement. I feel like a white man made that statement. A white man coined that term. A white man caused the divisions between us as black people. And they're winning, man. Because as long as we are divided as Africans, the longer the white man gets to stay in power, the more wealth the white man gets to accrue. The richer and richer they get, the poorer and poorer we get. Doesn't help we fight amongst each other and fit to say, this guy from Zimbabwe is doing what. When that guy also ain't got shit, man. That guy also ain't got shit. That guy from Burundi you're hating on, he ain't got shit, man. The person you should be hating on is the guy sitting there in some lavish estate. That white guy who owns, like, Fetu in your hometown alone, owns like 60% of all the shops. That's your problem, man. If we want to talk about foreigners coming into our country and taking our jobs, you got to ask yourself the question, who's hiring them? Who's hiring them, honestly? Who's hiring them, dog? Because they wouldn't be coming here if they were not getting paid. The white man pays them, and the white man knows we have a problem of illegal immigration in our country. But will they stop employing these people? No, they will not. No, they will not. So do not come here on social media trying to talk some xenophobic ass bullshit and saying they must get out of our country, whatever, they are illegal, they're taking our jobs. What jobs, dog? What job? It's not your job. It's the white man's jobs. And he decides who he wants to give it to. And that's where the problem is. We need to be making our own jobs. Coming together instead of fighting each other. We should be coming together. Creating organizations. Creating companies, dog. Companies that will outshine these white companies. You need to put them out of business, man. I understand that we can't go guns blazing saying we're taking everything back. Let's work for it. Let's stop killing our brothers and sisters. Let's stop killing our African brothers and sisters. Like, actually, let's try to work together. Just this one time is all I ask for. This one time. This is a very important time in African history. And if you're on the wrong side, you're gonna regret it later. Fam, choose wisely. 80% of our land is
South Africans are neither xenophobic or Afrophobic. Most of them are misinformed when it comes to the issue of migration and foreign nationals. It's because of political leaders who, whenever they're given a platform, they want to plant seeds of xenophobia everywhere they go. So whenever they fail to deliver on something, it's foreign nationals. Are you telling me, especially the ruling party and the opposition, I just want to, especially DA, if all foreign nationals were to leave this country, are all unemployed South Africans going to be employed? If all foreign nationals were to leave this country, is the health system going to improve in this country? Thank you very much.
Okay. And where are you from, ma'am?
You know, I'm glad that this question is actually coming from a South African. Because if this were to be coming from a fellow African or an African from another country, they would have asked the person to go to his country and fix the country before they'll come back and ask those questions. But then this is coming from a fellow South African or a South African, asking them that if you sack all these people that you are claiming that they are taking your jobs, these Africans that are not even up to 10% in the country, they are taking your jobs. If all these people, you chase them out, whatever, you are beating them to leave your country, does it mean that all of a sudden when they leave, all those people who are unemployed will get to work, they will get job and they'll be doing? And of course, this question you can't ask if you are not from South Africa. It takes a citizen who has been in the country for a long time to know that, Charlie, the things they go on for a year, it no be the foreign national that matter. If you have job that you are doing, you have problem. You won't wake up early morning. Like some video I saw yesterday. Some guy be early morning. Oh, I don't know whether it's early morning. This guy is walking around just mad at the fact that foreigners have place to sleep in South Africa. And he way they there, no, the day outside in the cold. You watch the video.
Just look at this thing, my bro. These are foreigners. The foreigners are in their houses, they're sleeping nicely, and we of South Africa, we are out here in this cold, catching cold, and these foreigners, they don't have papers, and just look at. They're all sleeping nicely in the houses. They're sleeping really nice in the house. We are here outside. They must go back to their country. They can't come here to take our sleep from us.
So you now tell me, this man where he did there, you have lived all your life. You have lived all your life. You couldn't do something for yourself. Someone that came from another country to come and live in your country, work hard and get money. You have a problem with it. Bro, sometimes then they talk say, these things all then be you don't know. Low budget that you don't know.
South Africans are very angry. There are countless videos being posted online that show just how angry they are. A lot of the anger, frustration, and violence, however, is being directed at the African immigrant and migrant community.
We are fixing this continent. This thing of you guys moving from one country to the other, it's no longer working. We don't want this as African people anymore.
Operation Dudula is an anti-migrant populist movement that was founded in 2021 to fight crime and drug trafficking in South Africa's Soweto township. Similar movements have now sprouted across the nation. Initially, the group was focused on banishing African migrants from government-funded hospitals as well as their children from government-funded schools. Operation Dudula and similar movements have now moved on to shutting down illegally run shops and simply profiling anyone who does not look South African. The same year that Operation Dudula started expelling foreign African nationals for taking resources away from South Africans, the Minister of Health at the time, William Kize, who is South African, was put on special leave as his department had been caught up in numerous corruption allegations. One of the allegations was that in 1 year, his department siphoned 280 million rand worth of taxpayer money. In March of this year, the Department of Health's Director General was suspended on charges of fraud and theft. On Monday, the country's Special Investigation Unit revealed a 54 million rand tender scandal involving a South African businessman and Eskom. A former CEO of Eskom, which is South Africa's state-owned electricity company, revealed that the blatant corruption within the company costs taxpayers, on average, 1 billion rand a month. Just this week, 21 South African officials were caught in a 35 million rand streetlight scandal. And perhaps worst of all, South Africa's top cop, the National Police Commissioner, Fani Masimola, appeared in court this week over an alleged 360 million rand unlawful contract. There are real challenges in South Africa, like undocumented migration and a drug industry where some networks involve foreign nationals. But most of the biggest issues do not have a foreign face. The people taking the most from South Africans are the ones in power. Real accountability sits with leadership. South Africans are being exploited, but mostly by those who sit above and watch as you hunt down and fight amongst your fellow Africans.
A South African woman tells a Ghanaian man to go and fix his own country. That video goes viral and the whole world watches us as we fight each other again. But before you point fingers at South Africa, let's talk about 1969, when Ghana expelled over 2 million people from their borders, and most of them were Nigerian. Then in 1983, Nigeria answered. 2 million undocumented West African migrants gone, more than half of them Ghanaian. And the bag that they packed their lives into, well, Nigeria called it the Ghana Must Go bag. And that bag still sits in markets across West Africa today, a monument to our division. And now some Ghanaians hold grudges against Nigerians, and some Nigerians look down on Ghanaians. Some African Americans reject their African heritage, and African parents warn their children away from the diaspora. We are a house divided, and we keep handing our enemies the tools to tear us apart. When the colonizers came, they didn't outnumber us. They found a continent of kingdoms. So how did a people so few in number bring down empires that had stood for millennia? They didn't conquer us with their armies. They conquered us with whispers, weapons given to one neighbor against the other. Before the Berlin Conference, the Asante Empire controlled trade routes worth millions in gold and cola alone. The British didn't defeat them on the battlefield first. First, they armed the Fanti, the Asante's coastal rivals, and then they walked in and collected the pieces. Titles offered to kings willing to betray their own, drink and money and manufactured grievance. They sowed seeds of division so deep that we're still harvesting them today. And while we argue about borders that they drew, while we expel each other from lands that were never theirs to name, while we debate who belongs where on a continent that God gave to all of us, they're back with contracts, with lithium mines and cobalt deals and green energy pipelines. The same hands that extracted our people are now extracting our earth. This wasn't random. In 1452, the Vatican issued a doctrine that gave European monarchs legal authority to invade, enslave, and seize the land. God placed everything that his people needed beneath their feet, and we're fighting over which African deserves to stand on it. Our enemy isn't Haiti. Our enemy is not in Lagos or Accra or Joburg. Our shared enemy is the same one who came to our shores centuries ago. No African is a foreigner in his own land, but a house divided cannot stand, and they know that. The only question is, do we? Because if we didn't know, now we know.
I am ashamed of a South African president. Nelson Mandela is ashamed of you. He's actually rolling in his grave. African unity is ashamed of you, because if one Africa is humiliated anywhere, all Africans should be offended everywhere. What are you doing? Are you aware that Africans are being haunted, beaten, humiliated in the streets of South Africa by the same people enjoying freedom that was paid for by continental sacrifice? You are always quiet. Silence means sponsorship. Where are the emergency reforms? Where are the protection for African migrants? Where are the arrest of xenophobic attackers? Where is your leadership? Why is the energy always strongest when the target is another African? Have you guys forgotten how the entire continent came together during the period of apartheid and supported you guys? I just saw a disturbing video of a Ghanaian being asked to go back to Ghana. Nigerian shops burnt down to ashes by South Africans. Those dogs, barbarians. Where are you? What are you doing about this? Have you guys forgotten how Ghanaians supported you during the period of apartheid? First sub-Saharan African country to gain independence, 1957. Kwame Nkrumah, he made liberation movement a mission. Openly supported anti-apartheid and a colonial movement across the entire continent. Nigeria gained independence 1960, 1st of October. Nnamdi Azikiwe, he openly supported a liberation movement, gave political and financial support to South Africans. Nigerians gave money to South Africans in bundles. Nigerians gave bundles of money, bundles to South Africans, scholarship to those in exile, refuge. And today they are being killed, they are being burnt, their businesses are being burnt down. 1960 to 1980, Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, he hosted South African fighters. Kenneth Kwandi of Zambia, he provided a refuge. Leopold Sédar Senghor of Senegal, he provided diplomatic support to South Africa. Algeria provided military training to South African fighters. Nigeria even had to nationalize the British petroleum assets, partly over apartheid-linked era interests. And today, South Africans, when South Africans get independent in 1994, the whole of Africa celebrated like it's our own child graduating. And today we are being kicked. You cannot be silent. Do something. Act. African Union, Organization of African Union, Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, 1963. Addis Ababa Organization of African Union. It was because of you guys. Liberation of Africa, mainly the end of apartheid. The Soweto Convention, the Soweto Uprising, 1976. The whole of Africa marched, sang, cried for your separation. And today we are being treated poorly in your country. You have to do something, Mr. President. Do something. Do something. Act now. Else, we're going to know you're supporting this movement. And we are also going to come together and take measures against South Africans. South Africans have to pay for this.